Hey, bud.
What's up?
Guess what time it is?
Fall.
Yes. You know what that means? That means that the trees are shedding their leaves.
Indeed, indeed. You know what does not shed leaves automatically?
Chesticles, testicles, and cheeks.
Right. So it is time for some fresh ball fall action.
Yeah.
My friends.
Manscaped, the Lawnmower 4.0, featuring their patented skin-safe technology.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you're not using Manscaped yet, what are you waiting for? Come on.
And what do your balls look like? Ooh.
Right? It's got an LED light, so if you're worried about nicking something or not being able to see, you don't have to worry, man. The lawnmower has it.
Shave in the dark.
Exactly. It's waterproof.
It is waterproof.
Go into the shower. If you don't want to make a mess outside the shower, go in the shower.
Shave in a dark shower.
Yeah, you can do that with Manscaped. If you go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BACONPOD, it'll give you 20% off and free shipping.
Free shipping.
And it's not even just for the lawnmower.
No, it's for everything. You can get the crop mops, shampoo, they have body soap, they have lotions, all kinds of things. Check it out, manscaped.com. If you can't remember the promo code, just jump over to baconsmypodcast.com and check out our sponsors page.
Always remember to clean your testicles, your chesticles, and your cheeks with Manscaped.
Yeah, man. What's your bacon?
That's a promo.
That's the promo. I'm gonna do a count to 3, and you're gonna make whatever face you want for the thumbnail of this. So you have a choice.
I was like, should I just eat my pork chop?
Yes, you totally can.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely fine with that. 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect.
It's like, I'm not putting that in my mouth.
You're allowed to. It wouldn't be the most ridiculous thing that's happened here.
No. Although it would have made for a great thumbnail description.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, my team will be like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, pork chops.
I mean, a pork chop on a show called Bacon is My Podcast. That's what I'm doing.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
Real quick, guys. Welcome to Bacon is My Podcast.
Yeah.
We had a buddy on today for this episode. So when we did What's Your Bacon in 7 Questions and hopped into the main episode, it was just basically seamless.
We were talking so much in between the episodes that it just kind of continued right through. So we're going to give that all to you guys instead of trying to chop it up cleverly. So this is a real quick intro.
Yes. So today we've got our buddy Kyler Sane from the Muckrakers, from Munoz stock. You know him. He's local, just like a really awesome contributor to our scene.
Yeah.
A huge supporter of just fucking whatever anybody's doing. Huge presence on social media.
Mm-hmm.
A real great follow on Facebook if you get a chance. Like,
yeah.
Dude just wants to... He wants to engage, wants to interact, wants to talk, has a lot of good things to say. And we talk about some pretty
yeah, we're
serious
all over
shit.
We're all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check it out.
Let's go.
Check it out. Shave your nuts. Manscaped.
Like, I was tired, man. I took 2 naps. Eat my damn pork chops.
All right.
You would think after 2 naps, right? But 2 naps.
Well,
never
naps
really helps.
are deceiving. There
That's
are
what I'm
2
saying.
types, and I think at Beery's we might have like talked about it because you were talking about naps, and I remember talking.
I
about
thought you were gonna be like, I think at Beery's we both napped.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you did play. You did play eventually.
Yeah, I did. So that would have been an opportune time.
But no, I feel like there's like you're either super refreshed, but then there's like a point with like how long they go.
Yeah.
And then they're just completely detrimental to the rest of your day.
And if you're 30 seconds over that
like,
line, it's like if you wake up right now, you're good. If you wake up in 30 seconds, you are
That's it.
shit for the day.
Yeah. Now that I'm off meds, I can like wake up and not feel like I have to like depresso sleep because like I was just sleeping until like noon a lot of the time recently because I also don't have a day job because I had to quit on recently. And once I got off of meds, I was like, I jumped up. I was like 6:45, and I had to finish a course. I think it was like yesterday. And I was like, I'm going to have to do a whole week of things in the morning. And I did a whole week of things the night before. And I was just like, my brain is just, there's no brain fog. And I thought I was going to have more withdrawal things because when I got off of meds last time, it was because I was on these other meds that made me not able to hold down food for a month in June. And that's when I went into playing that Nita show with Lions of the Gates also. And once I got connected with Demi Lovato on that one post, whatever that I shared, that's when like I had cold turkey off of all these meds that morning because I needed to eat again. And all of these crazy side effects hit me the same moment I got starstruck. And I was just like, I'm going to die. I'm like, my heart is just like racing like crazy. I have all this anxiety. I'm like, Demi Lovato and Nita are going to hate me now because of everything I say, because I said you instead of I, or this or that, or because my punctuation's off. It's just like, I had nightmares. All these things were crazy. And once I got off of medication this time, it's like, I think I was a little bit anxious when I had band practice, but I think everyone was just like, tired, so I think I was just overthinking it, but I'm pretty much fine. I didn't have like any withdrawal symptoms.
That's good.
Yeah, I went off of medication and like recently, and I didn't have like usually what would happen is I would have to taper, and every time I tapered for like a week after I tapered, I was like, wow, I feel like garbage, and this time it didn't happen. Right. I don't know. Maybe it's just like being in a better frame of mind overall. I don't know.
Yeah. I always have that anxiety of everybody's gonna hate something I say or write or do because of punctuation or I'm saying the wrong thing anyway. So I can't chance anything that's gonna make that worse.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just won't move.
Yeah, I mean, being on meds this last time was just like so many side effects that it was just like I feel like I was just taking poison. It was just killing my brain. So when I was like doing a little Mary J while on it, it was probably the worst medicine to be doing it with, apparently, because it just made me like my brain cells were just like, you don't have a brain. And you're also depressed, even though you're on it for depression.
Right.
So, like, I hit this, like, I originally said it was like an ideation, but it was more of like a hopelessness that you kind of fall into this, like, dark hole. And, you know, I'm telling my doctors about it and everything. And eventually, you know, I just was like, I can't smoke when I'm doing this or anything. And it kind of served as, like, an inspiration to, like, the next song that I started writing, because like I wrote a song leading to the Nita show that was inspired by Demi Lovato, which was like a very funny scenario that all happened. But this song, I also just played Baldur's Gate 3, and there's like a lot of this things with the mind flayers, and they're putting stuff in your eye, and then you're like getting mind controlled, and eventually you could become a mind flayer, and that's kind of how they do the thing. It's all messed up. So I wrote the song kind of making a tie-in between them and the medication. It's called Illithid, which is a synonym for mind flayers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people just thought that I was like, is that like Mike Tyson saying illicit? I'm like, no.
I wrote my song with a lisp. It
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this song's
just to make everyone angry. That's why I did that.
So yeah, this song's all about brooding, but kind of being like, I'm kind of tired of this. And so, you know, I cold turkeyed off of those meds and immediately bounced back. And like, I was at that event last night and I was telling them, like, I'm talking a lot to you right now, but I was just at Alive After 5. And I think the last time I was at it, I was just like antisocial. I realized how bad it was because I was talking to Shannon, my bassist, and I was just like, saying how like all my friends that I keep seeing every time I'm here, like they're not saying hi today or something, or like overthinking a lot of things, or being like, I don't want to be here. Like I'm just upset or something. Like why I'm just tired of being here because it's like kind of a Groundhog Day thing because you're there over and over and over again. But like if I wasn't feeling depressed, I probably wouldn't have been worrying about it so much. And when I'm like telling him how I'm feeling, he's like, what? I'm having a great time. I'm like, shit, I'm probably depressed. I'm like, it's definitely not because I'm worried about money or like not having a job, because when I work for my company, you know, I'm not worried about food or anything because we don't pay ourselves to do all these rentals. We recently started paying ourselves by spending some of that money on eating while we do these jobs.
Hey, a meal while you're working.
Hey, man,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, like getting we did it when we went to Capulet Fest.
Mm-hmm.
We did a pizza. We did a pizza where we were like, we're paying for this with our money that we spent on this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I've had to be like my little own therapist, kind of deciphering what is actually a situational problem and what has been like something else that's like doesn't need to be in there, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, and we're like already into the episode, so we're gonna have to do an intro.
Yeah,
we're gonna do the intro.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, I've been on and off medication myself and stuff like that, and it's just like you hit a certain point, whether or not you're on the medication, where you're just not nice to yourself, and unless you take like a couple of steps back and then kind of read the room and like really focus on it, it's really hard to decipher that. Mm-hmm. Like, and I mean, the fact that you're able to do it is fucking awesome, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of fucking work to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the lyrics to the chorus of the song that I wrote is all that I've been led to believe is a fraction of what I have left of my mind. It's hard to decipher who you are half the time when they're inside your head and they're fucking up your life.
Yeah.
But that's like tying in the medication and also like the mind flayer thing.
Yeah.
Now, so you mentioned you played Nita Strauss and this whole Demi Lovato thing. So for the people who don't know the story behind it, would you mind sharing it?
Yeah, I think we saw each other like the day before that all happened.
It was literally the day before. You were telling me about like, I just shot a video today.
Yeah.
Fucking tired. Playing a show in Brooklyn tomorrow with Nita Strauss.
Yep.
Yeah, that was like the day. I was like throwing up at that music video. It was like a Fight Club thing with a Phoenix Within. This was like the last few days of being on those medications where I was like losing all those weight. Like I lost 20 pounds in like 3 weeks or so.
Wow.
So, you know, I saw you guys, and then the next day we go to the show, and I'm like dying on the ride there because it's so freaking hot, and my tour van does not have a working air conditioner. So I'm sober at this point for the first time in a while. Like that was like a big thing about that week, is that I sobered up. I finished a new song inspired by Demi Lovato, and I was like, I'm just gonna like make it through getting through this show because I didn't have a lot of time to promote it, and I just want to make the best of it, which is why I was like, I'm going to go do this music video thing also. And so I get to the show, and the first person I decide I gotta see, I had a bunch of the people from the music video there to help load in and whatever, who I only met the day before, so that was nice. They showed up and bought tickets when I was throwing up, which is funny. They're like, what's your Venmo? I'm like, But so I go in there and I see Christian from El Nino, and he was in Lions of the Gate, and I also Aru, who is from Machine Head and everything. And I go up to Christian, and I'm just like, hi, I'm from Muckrakers, my name's Kyler. I just want to say hi, big fan, blah, 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 blah. I got to go get my stuff. And he's just like, I'm out of breath, and he's just like, it's all right. we're going to talk all night or something like that. And I was like, that's right. And then I just laughed at my shit. And then eventually I had to go get all the merch. And this was a tough day because Allie was at a graduation party for her cousin. So she normally does our merch. So I had to like set it all up. And Shannon was late because I think he was partying hardcore doing a brunch thing that day, so he showed up after I set up all that stuff. Anyway, so I had to like set up the merch in between the tour package. I didn't know where else to put it. The other first band didn't really set up merch, I don't think. And I know that they're like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because I can. And like the runners of the show said they can, and they were helping me, so I'm gonna do what I want to do. And then I was all right. So there was some like confusion that day, but anyway, so the first band plays and they're like tight, and that band was called Mainline. But by the time we were supposed to set up, I guess some time had went over the schedule, and we had 3 minutes to set up. So yeah, and it's a tight schedule because we're playing with practically mainstream-ish acts, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
You know, Nita's the guitarist, Rouse Cooper, Demi Lovato, Lines of the Gate has members from El Nino, who is a Roadrunner band, Machine Head members. So I was like, okay. So I just plugged in all my pedals and just like throwing cables everywhere, and like it's working. But then I plug in my amp into the same thing. It's not turning on. I have no time to think about it, so I go up to the guitarist, presumably of the other band. I'm like, I need your amp head! And I never even said hi to him yet. And he's just like, what? And then, like, he eventually came back, and then, like, the sound guy, we got the thing set up, and I was like, I don't need it anymore, thank you! and then he was like, there's no time for a sound check. I'm like, that's okay! And then it was just like, we're going to do this. And then... You know, it's just like we're not even on the stage at the Meadows in Brooklyn. We're just off of the stage, right in front of it, and there's just a crowd of people right in front of us, like a bunch of it's like an older crowd, but there's a bunch of kids also right up in the front. And I had my friends, some of them who were playing like Munoz stock, like Father Before Me's there, shooting it with my phone for the live video. And so we play like the intro, and like our intro sequence is like 4 songs, like a medley. So like our intro, we had to cut Territorial Pissings, but then we were going into Halloween Princess, and then we'd go into Parasite because we have the music video together and they're in the same key. And once he finished Halloween Princess, Shannon broke his E string, and I'm just like turning back to get into the next song, and I'm just like, what's happening? And then they're just like looking at each other, and then John's just like, he broke his string. And I was like, I don't care. And then I just hit the whammy pedal, which I only used at that show for like the first time, and I hit the lower register on it, so I had like a lower octave, and I was just like, I'm the bassist now. And then I was just like, we're going into Parasite, and Shannon, for the rest of the set, he just started tuning his bass and transposing for the rest of the set.
Wow.
That's also knowing we were going to debut a song, and we just figured it out. So, you know, we played the rest of the set that way, and it was just kind of like, all of a sudden it was like a freeform jazz version of our set, and it was funny, and I was like, my hair is just like bleeding through into my eyes, and like I'm having all this sweat, couldn't even keep my eyes open. By the time I got to certain songs halfway through the set, we got to play the new song Pain, which was inspired by Demi Lovato and some other songs, and it was well received. And then we got to finish out the set, and then debatable on my ethic, but I was outside for most of the rest of the show because I was trying to catch my breath. I was pretty much dead. I couldn't really talk to people because I had no food in my stomach for a whole month for the most part. So I couldn't even talk to my friends who were trying to get me on other shows. But I did apologize to the guy I was yelling at about the guitar thing.
Right.
Got to catch up. And I remember El Nino's Lines at the Gate guys, they were playing, and I was like, yeah. And then Juanita was playing, I just remember a bunch of people kept filing out, coming to us to be like, Nina's talking about you guys. Like, they're not talking about the other band that paid before you, and they're not talking about their tour support. They're just talking about you on stage right now. And I'm just like, what? like saying like your hometown heroes and all these random other things, and it's like nice. And I'm like, I'm dying. That's nice. So I'm just like trying to just get through the night. I'm just like, I was just happy that I got to write a new song for the first time since lockdown. That was like for the band, and got to debut it. That's all I wanted to do. So the show ends for the most part, and I guess John had walked away, and eventually he came back, and I was trying to find him, but like everyone's hovering around Nita's space, and the merch people are just like, are you gonna buy a thing? Are you gonna buy a thing? Are you gonna buy a thing? And then Nita's just standing there like, and everyone's just staring at her like, but like no one's making any moves. You know, some people are buying things, but it's like moving pretty slow. And I'm like, guys, like we gotta do something right now. And there's like, it looks like everyone wants to interact. I'm like, well, they're not. So I'm gonna do something. So I was like, I ain't even got money in my pocket. I was just like, I got very limited funds. So I was like, I just took my card out. I was like, I'm gonna buy a shirt. And then I went up to Nita. I was like, hi, I'm Kyle from the Muckrakers. And she was like immediately like, I know. And then I was just like, I saw you with Demi Lovato in Connecticut last year. And then, you know, that show inspired me to transition to female again. And she's like, can I tell that to Demi Lovato? I was like, what? Like, can I tell Demi about that? She would love to hear that. I was like, can we hug now? And then we hugging. And then we're talking about some stuff. And then talking about getting a photo together, and then we're like trying to get someone to take a photo, and then she just rips my phone out of my hand in a friendly way, and she's like trying to take the photo. I'm like, wait, and I'm like, we gotta put flash on. So we're like holding each other's hands basically. And then when the photo happens, and I look like trash, but she looks good, and everyone else looks like they're having a good time, and she signs all the shirts and does that thing. And then I was like, I'm buy a shirt from Lions of the Gates, and that was nice. And I was like, I don't even need to hear a follow-up from this experience. Just the fact that I was only a fan of Demi Lovato for like about a year, and that was even presented to me, it was just like mind-blowing, because like NoFX got me into music, and I've seen them twice. I have friends that worked on albums with them. I have friends who have played shows with them. And I've been in their presence, and I've still never met them. And, you know, I've met like Andrew Jackson Jihad with like Sean Bonnet, and the first time I met them, I had an experience, and that was great. And the second time, I was now dating Allie, and turns out her best friend was in the band, and that was cool. And we got to hang out with him and talk more about like they want to play Munoz stock, what are they doing with the band at the moment, yada yada. But like this was just like a total another level, because a lot of the bands that I like are just like comparatively way smaller. Right. Because, you know, Demi Lovato is like literally, you know, she just left her manager like last week, and her manager was Taylor Swift's manager, and Ariana Grande literally left the manager, the same person, like the next day. So it's just like kind of hitting me. Anyway, the next day after the show was Father's Day. I was like, I think I need to get off these meds because I'm going to fucking die. So the next day I talked to my doctor, and he said, I'm getting off of this. I'm just not going to take them anymore. She's like, you're going to have some side effects. I'm like, well, I need to eat, so I don't really care. So a couple hours pass, and I see a notification on the photo of us hanging out, like at the show that Nita took. And she's like, I salute you. I told Demi, you know, cool shit, basically. And I'm like, oh my God. And I post it on Facebook, and everyone freaks out. And I'm like, that was enough for me again. But I'm trying to cool it off, and I go take a shower, and I come back 2 hours later, try to have my head on straight, turn my phone on, and then the first thing I see 2 minutes earlier, Demi Lovato's now in my notifications, and she's just like saying how, oh, thank you for sharing this story, it means the world to me, and a bunch of hearts and stuff. And I jumped out of my seat, and I said, holy shit. And so I put that up on the internet and whatever. So, you know, that at the same moment, all my withdrawal effects happened. And then that lasted for about 2 weeks. And I was paranoid as shit that Demi was going to hate me or this or that, what I said earlier. And what I did to cope with that was that I went to 10 events in 11 days. And that was exhausting. But I had to because my heartbeat was literally like...
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just like I felt like I was literally going to die. I felt like the withdrawal had so many side effects, but the best way to sum it up in like a sentence is that I felt like I was going through the transformation of the Fly for 2 weeks.
Right.
I felt like I was breaking through my own skin.
Yeah.
That's a crazy amount of just ups and downs.
Yeah. I literally was in like before I sobered up and wrote the song and the whole Demi thing happened, I was literally at like a rock bottom scenario.
Right.
Literally just moments before that. So like talk about, you know, peaks and valleys.
Yeah. Time out.
Yeah.
Have you guys checked out baconismypodcast.com yet?
It's like the portal to everything Bacon is My Podcast. It's got episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's got music.
Yeah.
It's got swag.
Yeah.
And it has a portal to all of our sponsors, our awesome sponsors like GrillYourAssOff.com, Drink Wild Bills, Manscaped, and, of course, Mythical Beards.
Mythical Beards, yeah. So check it out. I mean, you can just, from one page, find so many things.
Yes.
Right? Check out our swag. Check out their swag. Get those discount codes and just, you know, help out the show.
Exactly. And always remember to ask yourself one super important question.
What's your bacon?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you'd mentioned like it was the first song that you've written since pandemic for Muck. Is it the like, have you been writing other things, or was this like you just?
It was the last one we finished and got the debut, because I wrote a lot of songs that I didn't have, just didn't finish writing lyrics to. I even have like lyrics to certain songs that were like inspired like by some CKY and Pendulum, Royal Blood stuff. Wrote a song that's basically just sounds like the U's Pretty Handsome Awkward, and I didn't realize it until I was done. And Shannon's writing a song, and he just needs to get a chorus lyrics done. And I wrote like somewhere from 30 to 50 like video game music, like lo-fi kind of music things in like 2021. And we also did like a lot of recording of like video game covers. We only put one of them out in 2021 because we actually also made a recording studio. We just didn't do a whole lot with that because then we started playing shows, and then the festival and all these other things started picking back up. But we only put out the Super Mario 64 Bowser theme, but we also recorded the Persona 5 theme, which is like a really jazzy kind of thing. And then we also recorded the Mortal Kombat theme, and then we did the Pokemon Center theme, and we were going to do the Home Depot theme, the Cantina theme from Star Wars, and there were so many things that we recorded and literally still have, and we will eventually put out. And seeing as I did make a lot of content from streaming and YouTube and TikTok, like was always like inspired by making like Tim and Eric videos. One of the things I was doing, especially with the Mortal Kombat thing, is like Shannon already has a Sub-Zero cosplay. So like we all just dressed up like Mortal Kombat characters, whatever, and we just like shot like what they did when they made the first Mortal Kombat, and like green screened ourselves into Mortal Kombat, and I pixelated us and just popped us into the game, and then also made us perform inside the game. And I just never released it yet because we never got a final mix.
I want to see this so bad.
Yeah.
That's great.
That looks amazing. That sounds amazing. I mean, so you guys, you know, obviously the pandemic came. You made a huge shift in your your presentation and what you guys were putting into, you know, the way you were releasing stuff, and like you said, you were doing a lot of TikTok and streaming and
Well,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
we also did. Stock didn't stop being a thing. Also, like we did the show on the go for 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Until I just thought that was like a waste of my time because I was just like I'm streaming literally 3-5 times a week anyway.
Right.
So I was just like I felt like I had a better idea what to do with my time, but like I also was just getting I feel like a lot of people had an idea of where they stood in the world before the world stopped, and it was a little bit more exaggerated than maybe what it really was to a degree, and a lot of people had to accept where it just stands now, and we just have to roll with the punches. And I was always like thinking that once I started doing a different thing, whether it was streaming or making YouTube content, like I don't always have to do this for the rest of my life. Like I can only do so much with my time. And I was always like feeling like we need to just become like, how did Corpse become famous during like friggin' lockdown? He was already famous. He was making freaking videos doing horror related things, and he did rap, and then he got on the stuff with like Valkyrie and Machine Gun Kelly, and it's just like all these things started happening, but he was already famous. It's like that's not a very smart idea. It's just like he already had a platform, and it made sense that when he wanted to do something else, people were going to support him. And my brain was just like, I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to try to build this up. But the thing is, like, it's not that I wasn't passionate about doing streaming. It's just like there's only so much you can do before you start having an identity crisis, because I was spending so much time building up a thing, and it's hard not to be like, in my past life I was doing this and that and this and that, and like being a band person and doing music scene stuff. And it's just like there's only so many times you want to just like talk about the same stuff on stream, where it was like the video games or anime. It's just like the same things over and over again, and it was just like it was weird. I started to break out and just be like who I was in general. It's like we just watched Rocky 2, and he wanted to go and retire immediately and then try to do a job or like do commercials, but then it's like it's all I know. Right. It's like that's me. Music is not all I know, but that is who I am. And these are all powerful tools, being able to like become a personality on streaming, because we did do the show on the go where we had a bunch of bands from all over the country do things. We had recorded skits, and we did host them, and we all figured it out because there was nothing else to do. And we also did stream, me and my fiance, and after a couple of months of doing that, I had set up a multicam stream where the band would do it in my room, and that was all fun. But it's just like once the world had opened up, it's just like we have to figure out what the next thing is. And I was like, I wanted to make TikToks, but also what people tell you got to do to become famous on TikTok isn't always what you want to do. And I always wanted to do something that was going to spend way more time. And I always wanted to make the green screen, crazy, stupid Tim and Eric stuff where it's just like, I don't know if you saw like the Munoz stock promo last year where it's just like Saturday, and then we're just talking on doing all the stupid stuff and talking about my cat, and like Shannon's talking about stuff, and I'm trying to tell him inside of the recording of what to say, and he's messing it up, and he's walking away from the green screen, so half of the video is the green screen, half of it is my room, and I'm like, what about this, what about that? He's like, yeah. And what about that? He's like, yeah. And I'm just like, but like that's like the kind of humor we're going for. It's just like, and then we put an ad behind it, and then we have strangers coming to Munoz stock last year. Like, where's the cat? Where's this? What did you do? It was like, it's just like, I don't know. But I don't even know where I started on this tangent. But yeah, we basically had a pivot. So, when lockdown happened, I lost my job, and I didn't know that immediately. I played Witcher 3 for like a month and a half, and 100% completed it. And we had
a month and a half?
Yeah.
Damn.
150 hours.
It's a big ass game.
So I mean, that's all I did. But basically, we had a meeting with one of our friends who worked for Upcomer, the magazine, and basically, they're like, a lot of music people are going into streaming, doing a lot of this and that. This is before I I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, I don't want to do that, but that's what I say to everything before I just decide I'm going to do it.
Right.
And so I was like, I guess I'm going to do this. And I was like, well, Allie and I's relationship is possibly more popular than either of us individually. So it's just like, let's do it this way. And, we had all these like challenges that I didn't expect people to like make us do when like they started giving us money. So like I had a sub challenge that was like a placeholder. I was like 20 subs and I'll eat a whole loaf of bread. And boy, someone saw that and they were like, well, hope you're hungry. And so, back when that all happened, like my computer was just, it could not handle it. It melted through like that whole a couple times of streaming. Like we built a new computer. It was always crashing. My friend who helped me with that ended up just giving me his more powerful computer, which is what I'm using right now. We invested in the camera that you see and the new lens, and I already had this mic, but a whole system, a whole lot of stuff that just makes streaming more accessible. And then like we always did like the art streams, the cooking streams. Literally, like we collaborated with a bunch of people to a degree, and when Fall Guys came out, like that was a big thing for us also. And like we did Honk Fest, like we had our own little festival where it's just like we had our revolving door of streamers just come in for like, I think it was like 10 hours, and I think we made like maybe $800 that day, and that was kind of crazy. But I think one thing that kind of got me towards the end of that is just like I had to move. Like I'm in my apartment right now, and I ended up having to get a job. And once I had to start worrying about money, it's just like it took the fun out of doing streaming that I barely had, and it just made it like me worrying about like, can we make money again? Like, because once I have to worry about bills, like I can't not be pressured to be doing that. But yeah, and I was making YouTube videos too.
When they become jobs,
Yeah, and especially when part of what attracted people is overindulging on eating food that would make you throw up. That was like mukbanging was basically part of it, because like eat a whole pizza, eat a bunch of wings, eat a whole thing of pickles, like all these random things. It was just like making me sick, and it did not help that we had so many people that were like throwing a lot of money at us. So like we were blowing up. We were going to become like partners if I just kept it going at a certain rate. But also we had some people that were like pyramid scheming us a bit by like taking all the people that I was like finding, and like I was growing a following like crazy on Twitch and Twitter and whatever. And it was just like this weird thing where it's like, if everyone just supports each other, we could all become Twitch partners. And I'm like, technically, you're just going to make everyone know each other, but then they're all going to probably like you, and then kind of ignore everyone else, because it's literally impossible to have everyone support over 75 people. So that's kind of what happened. I was kind of like at the top of the hierarchy with these people, and it was weird, and I just felt like I was being taken advantage by one person, and then there was another person who said he was friends with like A Day to Remember, but this guy was like always doing all these massive giveaways and stuff, and it was just like predatory at other points, and it was just like so many things I wish I wrote songs about, and I kind of suppressed my memories about. But it's just like there's so much politics, because all of a sudden, if you think I know a lot of people from doing music stuff, I knew just as many people within like a month or two span just from being on Twitter, and my brain was just like bleeding trying to just keep everything under wraps because no one knew who I was. And I was like not trying to be anonymous, but I had to form an identity based off of just kind of like, what do I tell people? Because a lot of Twitter was just like telling people what they want to hear, really, and then your tweet will blow up. So a lot of that was just like advice tweets and stuff. But by the time I started telling people more about the music stuff, it's like I start to see who actually cares and stuff. And you know, I got a lot of friends all over the world because of doing this stuff, but it was exhausting. I'll just say that much. And then once we got to pivot back into doing stuff in the live scene, it just got difficult because of the whole job stuff that I mentioned, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
just doing so many different jobs.
All right, quick timeout. I want to let everybody know that despite the summer being gone
Right.
and heading into the fall, does not mean that grilling season is over.
No, if you have a grill, it is always grilling season.
I feel like it's just getting started, and if you're grilling, if you're cooking, if you're doing any of that, make sure you do that with grillyourassoff.com.
Taste the freedom.
Exactly. Grill Your Ass Off is an awesome, awesome company. It is made in Texas. It is veteran-owned, and they were Small Business of the Year.
Yeah, Veteran Small Business of the Year 2023, which is awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
They also just partnered with Sailor Jerry. Now, rum may be my personal avoid at all costs booze, but
Right.
some people really love it. And I guess I have to admit, even at its worst, it's delicious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's a new Sailor Jerry Ironsides barbecue sauce that you can check out too. And anything that you decide to get at grillyourassoff.com. You want a deal? You want a special? You want some money off? Use the promo code.
Bacon. Because everything's better with bacon.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Come on. 10% off. Get it on all of their jerkies, all of their seasonings, all of their condiments, even their swag. Their swag is pretty sweet.
Yeah, spread some seasoning on those swags.
So definitely head over to grillyourassoff.com, use the promo code BACON for 10% off, and always remember to ask yourself one super important question.
What's your bacon? Well, yeah, and everything you do that's on the artistic side of it, it's so all encompassing and like full time. You know.
Yeah. And so I know I just went on a big tangent. So
That's all right.
That's what this show is built on.
Said some good stuff in there too. That hit me. So good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love tangents. Tangents are the best.
I
I can't believe you finished 100% of Witcher 3 in a month.
well, it's because all right, I bought that and then Doom, I
Right.
think. And I got locked in a level in Doom, and I was like, well, I guess I'm going to try Witcher instead. So
I
was
also
just
do that with games. Yeah.
so I bought that in a bargain bin for $20, and I was just trying to rush to the story and just like play it because I had no back in 2019 days. Like I just did not have the time to enjoy my life. Like I was literally. Every venue on Long Island wanted me to book them every month. Like Velvet Lounge, they wanted me. AMH wanted me to book them. Shakers, I guess. There's a bunch of places that was just like I had no time. And then we were doing the open mics every other week in rotation with the Chets and Chills.
Right.
And then we also had the video game and chills, which kind of like was a thing on Wednesdays every week. Which is like I had to bring all my systems and stuff to hope that people would come out to a friggin' a damn bar to like play with strangers. And I was just like, what are we thinking? And then we were always touring all the time, and then always trying to book events and like get all these touring bands out here, and then also do Munoz stock. And it's just like I'd like look at my bandmates weird if like they wanted to go like see a movie or buy a video game because I never spend money on anything for myself. All I did was spend money on food and gas, and I saved on anything for the music stuff. Like all I did was spend money on the band, or if I was going to a show. Literally, all I did was live it to the point that I forgot that I was a person. Like people probably looked up to what my work ethic was, but I didn't even know who I was anymore. Which is why becoming a streamer, even if I didn't really like think that was what I wanted to do, allowed me to kind of ask questions like, who the hell am I? And what do I like? What do I care about? And what don't I care about? And I feel like the version of who I am now, especially being humbled time and time again by having to deal with job things, but also still having a lot of friends in high places, it's just like, and having all these medication problems, it's just like I feel like I'm more of a person, even if I don't feel like I'm where I want to be all the time. But it's also like there's no right way of like progressing in music. It's like I feel like people tell me that I'm like the best at like promoting or something, like my band. But I feel like my path has been ridden by promoting everyone else instead of myself. You know, like you'll see me talking about you guys before you start seeing me talking about myself. Or like, you know, doing, you know, stock or whatever it is. And I know it's like, oh yeah, you have one, you know, stock, but it's like also I spend every year working on it, and we spend many thousands of dollars on it and a lot of time thinking about it. And, you know, people get mad at you when you don't get to pick them, even though it's literally so many hours in one day that you can have. It's like there's always the next year or the next year. But it's just like, you know, that's why I made another stage so we can have more people play and literally have it like one after the other and stuff. But yeah, it's just like I just never liked how it felt like it could be a competition, because it's like, why don't we just be all kind of like this symbiotic, actually a community? Because like, I'm not competing with any other festival, you know? It's like we are literally at every other festival because we're bringing our stage there, and we're friends with all these people, and we're friends with all these bands, you know? We're just trying to like have a good time.
Yeah, I relate a lot to some of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had that I've had that rep also, you know, like when I moved here and I lived in my van for like 7 years. Like I lived in a van and the rehearsal studio, and all I did was band, and all I did was, you know, every dollar came in went to band, every minute of the day was band. And I didn't have a place because I wanted to be able to go on tour, and I couldn't afford to go on tour if I was paying rent. So I was like, I'll live in the van and I'll live in the studio because I'm not from New York and all that kind of stuff. And I got a lot of, you know, the same kind of things that you get of people being like, oh man, your work ethic and this and that and the other. And it was like, but you get into this point where you're like, I don't even know who I am right now or what I actually care about, or because now I'm in a cycle of wake up, do this, do this, do this. What's on the calendar? What's on the schedule? What's on my phone? What do I need to get done? What, you know, what do I need a flyer for? What show do I need to be at? If I'm at that show, how many, you know, we were back then I was printing CDs or stickers or something like that, and it was like, how many of those do I need? Do I have what I need? Do I need to order more things? If I need to order more things, who do I need to talk to about? Where are we getting the money? How we do, you know? And
were you waking up in the morning already texting people, or you texting people in the shower because you just couldn't even like wait to get out of it?
Right. Yeah. There was just no, you know, you're hitting send on an email right before you got to get in your car, like get out of your car to go into whatever job you have, and then on breaks you're answering emails and doing the same, you know, like
at the job.
I feel that a lot, man. And I'm glad that you are, not that you're coming out of something like that, because you're still working your ass off, but like, I'm glad that you're finding like who you are and what you care about and the things that are important to you in all that, and even making a little time, you know what I mean? I found that helped me a lot. I had to, or I was spiraling so many times where it was just like, okay, all right, I need to come out of this, otherwise I'm not coming out of this, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely feel that. Everything you were saying, I was like, oh my God, someone else too.
Well, it's like, you know, I'm talking to all my friends, and like, you know, I'm friends with like one of my sisters in the scene is Lindsay. She was pretty much running Cradle of Filth. And like when we're talking to each other, it's like we all pretty much have a similar story. Or it's like my friends we just had from Heartsick. We brought them to Mr. Beery's like a month after I saw you guys, and they're playing all the big festivals. They just came from incarceration, like they were literally coming from it when we had them, and they're playing Blue Ridge Rock and all these things. And I'm like talking to him. He was like the first person I told when I was like leaving the tattoo apprenticeship, whatever. And I'm just like, how do you feel? Like, or how are you handling things? Like, what are you managing? And like, are you happy with like whatever's going on and so on and so forth? And he's just like, he told me what's on his plate, and I'm just like, to quote Courage the Cowardly Dog, it's like the things you do for love, there's just so much shit. It's like impossible to like even fathom why we do it, but it's like just because we are, it's just because we want to be doing it. And but it's like we always think that everyone else just has it easier or something. It's like a grass is greener on the other side, but like other people have it just as hard, but it's just relative. It's always kind of sucky, and they probably see someone else and they're just like, I wish I was doing what they're doing. But it's like we could be talking to like Chester, RAP, and he probably was thinking, I wish I could have been like this person, you know?
Yep.
Even when you're at that level. And it's just, there are people that say that about me, and I'm just like, come on. You know, it's not, you know, you're never going to be happy when you're like thinking, oh, that person's not even that good. Why are they that high? Or also like, they are so far over there. I don't think I'll ever get there. Or like, I wish I had what they had. It's just like, sometimes you gotta take a look back at what you already did and just take a damn breath and just appreciate what you did. Because I was talking to the guys from Dino Skate Park yesterday at the party, and I was talking about the first 4 shows I had. I was playing at this church with some dudes. It was like some covers and some originals. Then I played Munoz. It was our first show. There was a couple covers. There was a couple 3 acts, whatever. Then there was a showcase I did with like 2 hours of prep at my first college. And I was like, I'm not confident in this, guys. But we played 100 people. And I was like, okay, thanks. Anyway, and then, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because the 4th show I played was the first show in the music scene at Sinclair's with Relic Mortem, and it was 2 or 3 days after I got out of a psych ward from trying to kill myself from my first college. And you know, back then I didn't really feel like I had a whole lot to live for. I didn't really have like a significant other to really like rely on or like look at or look to. I didn't have any pets yet. My family was progressively more distant because I went to college for the first time, and they all thought I was having a good time, and all my friends were all doing their own thing, and I didn't see them anymore. And I went to a music college where they were all basically like, say goodbye to everybody. You need to become a AAA student. Otherwise, no one's going to want to work with you. And so I got through one semester and I did really well. But then I took a bunch of pills, and then I was like, I guess I'm going to die before my finals. And then I woke up and I was like, shit, I hope I know how to play the piano. And then I threw up. And I drove out to 5 Towns, and I barely got through it because I kept falling asleep at the lights. And then once I got there, I had this like thing where I saw this teacher who was like really mad at me because we were trying to do band practice when they were doing a play for like some sort of like Western play or whatever, but we were like directly right in front of like the room where they were doing in the auditorium. They're like, this is great and all, but this is not what we're doing right now. This is not ragtime. And I'm just like, well, okay. So I guess we had to stop being a band for tonight. Anyway, but yeah, basically she was like, she thought I was just being a drug addict or something. And I was like, yeah, I try to kill myself. And then she gave me this blanket. She just became a mother all of something. And now I still have that blanket because she just put it on me. And then a million, like the cops showed up, the freaking ambulance showed up, fire department, everything before the ambulance. It was funny. And I was just like, when are the right people going to show up? Anyway. And then,
There's no fire.
I'm on fire. And then, I was just, before that I was dry heaving and everything. But then, I said all the wrong things to the doctors.
Right.
which was the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got institutionalized for a week. And I met a lot of crazy characters. I never told this story on the podcast, so I'll tell you at least one of these stories, besides all like the weird people trying to like violate me that were like having a crush on me, which was entertaining. But I did play a show there in the psych ward. I mean, that's not the funny thing. It was funny because once I got off suicide alert, I did get my guitar and I played an acoustic performance of some shitty songs that I don't remember to a bunch of grandmas and some like gangsters that were like in the psych ward that were probably just on a bunch of drugs and like the brain was gone. But they were like in another room, and like this dude, I think his name was Reggie. I wrote a song about him once I got out, literally like Christmas Eve morning. And I was just in my room and I stepped out because I think he actually entered my room. You're not allowed to do that. And I remember him going in his room and then he walked out. He's like, and then walked into like the common room and I saw one of the nurses go in there and she just had like this scream. Turned out she's just like, he's shit everywhere. So yeah, Reggie the gangster decided he was shitting all over the freaking room. Right. And that was hilarious to me because I was just like, this guy is insane. And I remember one morning I woke up like really early in the morning and I wanted to go watch TV, but I didn't want to go change it. So I was like, I guess sports or something. And Reggie's just standing in front of the TV. It's just me and him. And he's just standing facing the TV. He can't see the TV. He's just standing in front of it. And all of a sudden, he just starts taking his pants off. And I'm just like, okay. All right, I'm
What's happening?
What's happening next, Reggie? What's going on here?
You're dictating this ride.
Yeah, I remember I was eating breakfast, and this one other girl came in, and I'm just sitting over there, and I was like, I asked her a question, and she just looked at me, she just screamed, and then she face planted into a bowl of cereal. And I was just like, okay. I was like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Right, yeah. I gotta get out of here. These people are nuts.
I was just like, okay, I learned my lesson. I'm terrible at killing myself. Yes, the moral of that story is I told my friends about that, and they said, what an absence the scene would have had if that all happened and worked out, or I died. And I was like, crazy.
Hey, have you ever wondered how you could actually help the show out? I mean, not just like listening and giving a 5-star review or buying a T-shirt or working with
a little bit
sponsors.
of extra zazz.
Yeah. Are you one of those people that likes extra stuff? That likes a little bit more? Can't spell extraordinary without that little extra.
Exactly. So if you like that stuff, if you want a little bit of extra bacon, like tasting shows and cooking shows and early access to episodes, I mean, shoot, you can't get any earlier than live.
That's true.
Every week we do our discussion and drinks live for our patrons over at patreon.com/baconismypodcast.
Check it out. Check out the tiers. See what's right for you. Help us out. We love you. Thanks for being a part of it. Remember to ask yourself, what's your bacon? Yeah. You know, it's we've talked also about like, you know, like what the hell's the meaning of life? You know, and we talk about like, okay, as long as you can kind of leave your surroundings better than you found them. Right? You know, like if you're the type of person that you bring something to the people that you're surrounded by and you enrich their lives or you enrich their scene or what their day-to-day or whatever it is. And if you're not enriching it, at least you're also not taking it away. We're not here to be goalies. We're not here, you know, if you can't assist somebody in their situation, get the fuck out of their way, leave them alone. But if you can, do everything you can to do it. And I think the moral of the story is, hey, you've done that and you're doing that. So that's.
You ever watch It's a Wonderful Life?
I have seen it. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I watched that for the first time like a month ago, and I was like, I didn't expect the movie from like the 40s or so to hit me so hard, but I know Allie and I were like, he did so many things that were good to people, and we didn't know until they did the Christmas past, or like, what if he didn't live kind of scenario.
Right.
Yeah, it's
yeah, that's one of those things. Sure. That's one of those things, you know, that I've said a bunch of times. Like, I write songs so that I don't drive off a bridge. You know what I mean? But it's like, that used to be completely 100% true, and now I can say that, like, through like growing and figuring things out and talking to people and working on myself, that I still write songs so I don't drive off a bridge, but I do other things in life also. So that maybe I can talk to somebody else that's not going to drive off a bridge, or I can find other reasons. You know, like there's a million reasons to do cool stuff for people, and to make things better or to improve things. And there's not really ever any good reasons to take that away.
Right.
You know, and that's something that I've definitely learned the hard way many times, and then through a lot of thought and
It's another parallel.
Screaming into a mirror, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with the rentals, it's funny because when we all started, we were always like, there was a little bit of pride in me being like, we made this stage. It's like, if we give this to other people, it's like, then what do we have, you know, for our own self? But just like, well, if we give it to everyone else, then everyone else could have that cool stage to like feel like a rock star that day or whatever they want to do, because we've had people do like speeches and stuff, or like panels and so on and so forth. And it's just like, sometimes you just got to give that thing you feel like is too dear to yourself to other people, so everyone else can have a piece of it, so everyone else could have
100%
like something that they can enjoy out of it. I don't know. It's like, it's also funny because there's some appreciation that we get from the fact that we built our own stage instead of having it like just something we bought and then just give people and just like mark it up or whatever. Because we're not like, we're a reasonable price. I'm not going to say what our price is, because we just try to make deals based off of what it is, because we also have a lot of different things we can offer. But it's just like, we built that out of wood. Someone asked me, it was like, what is it made of? I'm like, wood. It's like, yeah, we just decided, we Googled it and we figured it out. And they're like, yeah, DIY do I die? I'm like, yeah, that's how we're gonna die, because we're just so exhausted all the
time. That's a fun thing to say.
DIY till I die, or death by DIY.
Right.
One of the two.
I think both those should be on the front and back of a shirt.
Yes.
Have DIY till I die on the front, and then have a tombstone on the back that just says death by DIY.
Yeah.
I think that also translates, well, not that, but like even with Allie was like our exclusive artist to a degree. Like, not that like I own her artwork or anything, but like I was like, she does such a special thing, and I feel like that's like our thing. But then I was like, that could also be another thing for money. And so like she was starting to do things with a lot of other bands, and like she did all this stuff with like Poppy, and I can't say another massive artist because I'll tell you when we're not recording it, but it's even bigger
Poppy's
than
awesome.
Yeah, Poppy's pretty damn sick.
And Poppy's artwork and art direction is always completely incredible. So
yeah, she was working on a comic book with her, and that she had like the covers done by Allie and some other posters and stuff.
That's amazing.
But it's just like, sometimes when you feel like you got something special, you just got to let people have a piece of that. And that's kind of what Munoz Stock was all about, because like you could always just like keep it a private thing, make it like this weird thing you always gatekeep people out of, but like that's not fun. It's like, it could always be like a punk festival or a metal festival, but like there's a crazy level of stress trying to coordinate with completely different walks of life when you're trying to get people that don't do the same things as each other Because, like, you know, I do the ticket song and dance with, like, I played that Neo show. Yeah, I wasn't like, oh, would you like to do this for free? Because I think you're really beautiful. Like, it was like, no, I had responsibilities when I took that up. And, you know, there's a lot of other people when they play a show, they just kind of want to, like, just be on it. And they don't want to put work into it. And, you know, we put a lot of work into, you know, stock. And when people, if they want to play Munoz stock, we're going to expect everyone, if they're going to play it, we're going to want you to care about it just as much as anyone else that's playing it. So it's like, we're going to give you the resources to promote it. Just handshake deal it. Just be like, do good by us and we'll do good by you and everything. Being as vague as possible. But like, we've had so many experiences in the past when we didn't treat it like a business, where like people would just show up and people didn't want to pay. People didn't bring their instruments. People showed up high, and during their set, it's just like, come on, guys. It's just like we gotta put on our big boy pants, and we gotta like. I don't care what you think is normal. Today is when we got to do everything with the same rules and be professional.
Well, I think there's a big, and you know, like some people they have substance abuse problems or whatever it is, but like I feel like the big misconception when it comes to being in a band and performing and all that kind of stuff is that huge distinction, and we talk about it all the time. It's like, this is a job.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, to a lot of people, picking up a guitar and learning how to play guitar and all that stuff, that is a hobby. And to the vast majority of people, being a musician is a hobby. Mm-hmm. But that's not the way it is across the board. And when you show up at a Munoz stock or something like that, there's a lot of fucking work that goes into any event. Yeah. Even just like a regular show. Yeah. Like the booking, the promotion, the you know, if you're getting tickets, that kind of stuff. So but I think that people don't treat it that way because everybody, like, not everybody, but like a vast majority treats it as, well, this is just a hobby that I do. Mm-hmm. And I just like doing it because it's my hobby.
And that's valid. It's just that, you know, don't sign up for something also if you're not ready for it.
The minute you start to work with somebody else that is doing it at a certain level, you have to up to their level. You can't expect people to come down to wherever you're comfortable.
Right.
If you're working with people, and you should always be working with people that are above and working to a higher level anyway, because that's what is going to push you to be better and push you to work harder. You know, like, it's as simple as giving away tickets to a show instead of selling tickets to a show. Mm-hmm. If I give you a ticket, that ticket has zero value.
Zero value to you or to the show.
If you pay for it, now there's a value, right? If I give you a CD for free, my songs have no value to you. But if you bought it, there's a value. There's a value to a T-shirt. There's a value to a sticker, to anything. You know, if I give away a sticker to somebody and I say, look, all I need you to do is here's another one and stick it up somewhere, then I've created a value. If you don't put a value on what you're offering and who you are and what you're doing, no one else is going to either.
If you don't care about what you're doing, no one else is gonna.
And why should they? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
There's so many other people vying for people's attention, and you need to prove why they should.
Exactly. You know?
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are good. Being good isn't inherently special. Right? Being talented isn't really special either. The work that you put in, the connection that you can make with people, the effort that you put in, the feeling that you give to an audience or to someone you work with, you know, and that goes back to, you know, the anti-gatekeeping thing of like, if I can do this thing that's special and I share it with you, I'm now sharing something special with you, and I'm making you understand and feel and have a resource that is also able to make you do something special.
It's like anyone could make their own Munoz stock technically, but are you going to get to that level? It's a matter of whether you're going to want to devote that time and everything. But also, a lot of people want to like fly before they can crawl. You know, Munoz stock wasn't this all the time. We started off as a house show for 5 years. It was free until the last year. It was a fundraiser for Shannon's late cousin who had cancer, and then he passed away. He did our album artwork for our first album. And, you know, it was one of those things where, like, when the 6th year was coming and we were going to, like, well, don't want to press our luck. The cops might eventually finally come on us. Right. And so we're like, we got to move this somewhere. So we became what we brought to the mall. And this is where we had the first time where we had to worry about money for the first time. Because it was always just like, if we made money. Like, if any money came in. And this was like, first time we had, like, I don't know, the mall could have been over $1,000-something to be worrying about, but then we were finally putting in vendors and so on and so forth, and then the mall was screwing us over, and they were bringing, like, T-Mobile and all the restaurants in, but then not considering what money they were bringing in, and then putting it towards our stuff, and then all these, like, companies were getting really confused, and, like, what is even happening? And I'm just like, I don't know. Why is there a shoe fucking festival happening literally right next to my stage? They didn't say any of this was going to happen, but they don't care what we feel. But anyway, but what I was bringing this up for is just like making that jump from a house show to being at a mall. Like, you had people that did not want to come and support us because we weren't free anymore. Like, I have to spend $10. This was always free. I'm like, yeah, it was free for half a decade, dude. It's like friggin' cough up $10 so you can support us. And because we didn't even have fencing properly, that was one of the years where, like, people just, even if they showed up, they just didn't want to pay. Like, a lot of people paid, but a lot of people were just like, nah. And I'm just like, that's great. That's why we're not doing it anymore, because we need to have it in a place where, like, we could funnel people into an entrance so they have to go through it and be like, what is in here? And so that's why Station Sports has been such a good spot, because there's only one entrance unless you have the key to the gate. And we're the only ones who have the gate key. So, and those are the only gates that we will keep locked. So people don't try to break it.
Well, that's again, you built value. You know what I mean? And that's and any band that's on that has to realize that, like, okay, you took a risk, you built a value, you did a thing. They have to respect that, and they should. Otherwise, you know, you get one shot.
Right.
You know, and then it's like, all right, well, you don't respect this, you don't respect the stage, you don't respect the work, you don't respect it, so you can go play free things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we've had years. I'm not gonna like name names. It's like, I remember one year someone wasn't happy with their set time, so they edited the flyer and put like frowny faces on everyone, like all the like the artwork.
It's such a.
They weren't even first. Like, they weren't even first. It was so funny because I was just like, the event started early in general, but like they were like maybe the latter half of the beginning. Right. It was like, ridiculous. What are you doing?
Come on.
And it's always the people that don't bring anything or anyone to the event that get really mad. And like, it's the people that are like, Father before me on this year. It's like, I'm not gonna say anything bad about him ever in my life, because he's also like, basically, that's like my other band. I'm not even playing in it. I'm gonna be in some of his music videos hopefully, but it's his first show with this band. He got a band to do it, and I have them direct supporting us because I believe in what they're doing, and I gave them more tickets than anyone else because he kept asking me. I gave him my tickets. Like, I'm just like, I don't even know what to do, dude. Like, you asked for so many, and he's just like, I'm gonna get as many people here as possible because I want this to be the only thing that matters for the rest of the year for me. And he's just like coming up with all these different ways of promoting the event. And that's a lot of the people at the event. Like, I was at a show, the thing we rented yesterday, people there were like, yeah, I bought a ticket from one of the bands on the festival. And I was like, heck yeah. So
nice, man. Yeah. So, before we wrap up here, let everybody know all about Munoz, where they could go to get tickets, and what bands are playing besides yourself, of course, and everything going on Muckrakers.
Where can they find out all that stuff? All the stuff.
So, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram, it's the Muckrakers LI and Munostock, and on Facebook, the Muckrakers or Munostock. On Munostock this year, we have us being the Muckrakers headlining it. On main stage, we have Father Before Me, Justice the Brave, Heavy on the Heart, Crisis Crowns, Agony of the Fallen, Ronin. The Space Turtles was recently added. Vinnie Hollow, Noah. And then on the Be Good Entertainment side stage, we have Audrey Jones, C7, which is a rap group, All One, which is a rapper, and Ty the Truth, and Matt Giordano, and then Cripsby Dorado. We have a bunch of different genres thrown into this between rock, metal, electro, freaking pop stuff, R&B, rap, freaking what the hell was I just talking about? Like indie, spacey, jam, funk music. What the heck is this? Ska music. Father Before Me is a one-person band, but then he finally got a bunch of other people to play with him, and basically is like progressive skate punk, basically, I guess you can say. Heavy on the Heart's like pop rock, pop punk, and, everything under the sun, I guess.
Nice.
And then Muck, after Munostock, is playing Ronin's album release show at Shakers. Got tickets right here on October 14th, which is a Saturday, and we just turned down a couple of shows to play with some big bands. Not going to say the name because that sounds rude, but otherwise we would have something else to talk about.
Right.
But yeah,
Nice.
the timing, we just gotta make priorities,
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for spending so much time with us.
Yeah,
we really
honestly,
appreciate
it's been fun.
it.
Been cool.
Really appreciate hanging out and stuff like that, and appreciate what you do for our scene, because, like, again, you're making it a better place, and you're leaving it better off than it was when we first got here. So thank you.
What we're all trying to do. We're just trying to do it.
Right.
No, I don't. I'm just doing whatever, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're appreciated, and thank you for all of it, and thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well,
So,
thanks for having us.
Hope you had some different questions. Hope it was different than an interview.
I feel like I had the Pop-Tart kind of question before about the whether it's a ravioli kind of
Right,
soup
yeah.
thing. But
Yeah, that's a similar theme.
yeah, other than that, you hit me with some ones that I never had.
All right, good.
Cool.
That's the goal. And we'll just hit everybody at home with one very special question. Just remember to ask yourselves every day, what is that thing that makes your life better? What is it that leaves your day a little bit better than it was when you found it? What makes your life a little more tasty? What's your bacon?
Wait a minute, what's your answer?
And there we go.
Talk about all that stuff.
We talk about a lot of stuff. We are all over the place in that episode. Like,
Yeah.
we get to some heavy shit, and then we get into some fun shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
I have a lot more in common with Kyler than I realized prior to this,
yeah,
which is interesting.
hell yeah.
It was just some of the. There was just certain things that he was talking about where I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You
You hit on things.
getting flashbacks and stuff too. It was
Yeah.
just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So very cool. Very
yeah,
cool
it was really awesome
conversation.
talk. It was nice. It was nice to talk to him and not have to yell
Right.
Because I'm always talking to him at shows. So I'm always having to talk to him like this.
That's true.
So
That's
this
true.
was nice that it was like indoor voices.
Yeah. Indoor Voices was good.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Exactly.
I hope that at some point this summer, or whatever time you're doing this, you're cooking with some grill your ass off stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you're keeping your nether regions shiny,
fresh and so
sparkly.
clean.
Yeah. Testicles, cheeks, all those things. All those things. Our favorite, by far, clearly, the crop mops.
Yes. Yeah.
Favorite product.
Bar none.
And it's not even close. And I literally use everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that, favorite.
Absolutely. So, yeah. Jimmy, where can they find you and your stuff?
Jimmy G Shoes on all the socials. You can find my band Craven Strange at cravenstrange.net. You can find the stuff that I am doing with you, sir. Bacon is my passion. We're never going to say it like that.
He means passion. He means
I
passion.
shouldn't
Don't
say
say
it like
that.
that. I should never say it like that. Yeah, Bacon's my passion. All that stuff you can find at baconsmypodcast.com, where you can find everything having to do with this show, all of our great sponsors, like Great Your Ass Off, like Drink Wild Bills, like Manscaped, etc., etc. Some t-shirts, some cool merch, all that kind of stuff.
Well, King and I, etc., etc.
Etc., etc. Yeah, find all that stuff there. Where do they find you?
Personally, at me my own self. Mike, you can see my personal goings on. Something you didn't mention about Craving Strange, but you have a show coming up, as do I.
Yeah.
With a buddy of ours, Joey DeMacco, who will be on very soon.
Neon Skyline
Neon
release,
Skyline
release
show.
Very
and
exciting.
Jimmy and the Craving Stranges are playing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be doing a
I
solo
lobbied
thing.
to try and change the name to that. I got outvoted.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But I am going to be doing a solo show there. A little acoustic thing. Going to be doing a little bit of everything from everything that I do.
I like it.
Throughout the years. So keep an eye out for that on my personal social at me, my own self.
Mikey and the Tone Deafs.
Right. Exactly. And me and my band at Something Heavy Music on the socials. Except for Twitter, apparently.
Right.
So we got new music. Right. I'm sorry. We talked about that. He must be using brand X. So yeah, check us out. We got a new single coming out. Keep an eye out. Yes.
Yo, Mikey and the Tone Deafs is a good name.
Yeah, I might be using that.
That's a good name.
Yeah. But until next time, we need to like copyright that now.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we'll put that out.
definitely use that.
Yeah. Till next time, always remember to ask yourself one super duper important question.
What's your bacon?
World peace.
Mikey and the Tone Deafs.